This is Sarvinos with your B2B Cambodia Market update for June 10, 2025. The Cambodia Securities Exchange Index rose by 0.23 points or 0.06%, closing at 407.67. Total trade volume was down with 49,903 shares changing hands at a total value of 228.9 million real or over $56,000. On the main board, two stocks were up. Leading the market today was Grand Twins International up 1.50% or 120 reals to 8,100 reals per share, followed by Royal Group Phnom Penh SCZ rising 1.44% or 30 reals to 2,120 reals per share. Only one stock was down. Phnom Penh Autonomous Port dropped 0.30% or 40 real to 13,380 reals per share. Over the growth board, DBD Engineering dropped 0.93% or 20 reals to 2,120 reals per share. Meanwhile, JS Land stayed flat at 2,840 reals per share. Akleda Bank recorded the highest trade volume of the day, with 17,224 shares changing hands at a total value of 118.8 million real or over $29,500, about 34.5% of Tuesday's trade volume. MGQ Education recorded the second highest trade volume of the day, with 14,322 shares changing hands at a total value of 28.7 million real or over $7,000, approximately 28.7% of June 10th trade volume. Moving on to the exchange rate, the Khmer Real weakened at 4,014 real per US dollar, while the US dollar index was up to 99.14. Looking at global commodities, oil prices climbed on Tuesday as investors awaited the outcome of US-China talks that could pave the way for easing trade tensions and improving fuel demand. Brent crude futures rose 22 cents or 0.3% to $67.26 US a barrel. US West Texas Intermediate crude was up 18 cents or 0.3% at $65.47 US a barrel. On Monday, Brent had risen to $67.19, the highest since April 28th, buoyed to the prospect of US-China trade deal. US-China trade talks were set to continue for a second day in London, as top officials aim to ease tensions that have expanded from tariffs to rare earth curbs, risking global supply chain disruption and slower growth. Gold prices edged higher on Tuesday while the investors awaited more clarity on US-China trade talks and looked forward to key US inflation data due this week, which could provide insight into the Federal Reserve future interest rate decisions. Spot gold was up 0.2% at $3,333.89 an ounce, after prices fell to a low of $3,301.54 earlier in the session. US gold futures were steady at $3,354.70. US stock futures slipped early Tuesday as investors awaited more insights on trade discussions between the US and China. At the time of Cambodia's market closing, Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures fell 54 points or 0.13%. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures were marginally lower. This was Sarvinos with your B2B Cambodia Market update for June 10, 2025.